Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hardcore Fab channel. On today's video, we have got to address people getting scammed. That's right, our fellow car guys are getting scammed. You could potentially get scammed as well. It just happened to me. I did not actually get scammed, but the attempt was made just here in the last few weeks. So I felt like it's something that I should probably try to address to you guys and let you guys know in case you're not aware of the situation of this shit going on. So that's what today's video is about. So when I first heard about this a few months ago, it was a situation where somebody had tried to get some artwork done on one of their vehicles. And if you're like me, it's cool to have, some artwork of your vehicle. You can put it in the garage beside your car or whatnot, or in your office or whatever. And that's what this person thought as well. So they had had some artwork done, or thought that they were having some artwork done. They paid to have some artwork done, but the person was not reputable. And as a matter of fact, the person had even scammed the person that was taken advantage of here with some artwork by Micah Doodles, who's the one that did the artwork for me on that one right there on Hookers and Blow. I'll put that up right here right now. You guys can check that out. So if you're not familiar, but anyways, they had used some of the artwork, not that particular my artwork, but they had used some of his artwork to show that they were capable of doing some of this art for another person, and actually wasn't capable of doing any of that. That wasn't their goal at all. Their goal was just to scam people. So they did that to some people that I know here a while back. I'll leave the names out of there because I'm sure nobody wants to have their name out there that they got scammed. But anyways, regardless, they got scammed on this whole deal. So it really kind of sucks because now it kind of also makes Micah Doodles look bad. It shouldn't, because he didn't do anything wrong or anything at that point, but some of his art's tied to this now and everything. So there's that. But now these people have moved on to not just using his, because his is so recognizable. His is pretty unique as far as that goes. They are using some stuff that I'm not sure if some of it's maybe AI generated or some of it is some lesser known artist or what, but they're doing stuff where they're setting up a fake account on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and then they'll friend you. They'll find people like me, for instance, or probably a lot of you that have their vehicle as their profile picture on their social media, and they friend you and then give it a week or two or whatever, and then hit you up and, hey, we do artwork, we'd like to draw something for your car, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds real legit to begin with, and kind of makes sense if they're in another country where they could do it for cheaper and all that kind of stuff, just like how everything's made in China now or Taiwan or whatever. So you kind of get it and think, okay, well, maybe this is cool. Maybe this is, a legit artist and they're actually going to give me a really good deal on this, but it might seem like a bunch of money to them, but not a lot to us, right? So you're pretty tempted to begin with. And like I said, this happened to me a couple weeks ago here, where I was hit up on Facebook, and they hit me up with two different accounts. I found out later that it was the same person. We'll go into all that here real quick in just a little bit if you guys are interested. Stick around, I'll let you guys know all that. But yeah, they hit me up with two different accounts and started out with prices of doing artwork at around $250, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I don't know if you guys have priced any of that or not, but depending on the artist and depending on the artwork and what it is they're doing, that is cheap, or that's fairly comparable to some of them. So it just depends on who and what it is that you're doing. And offering to give you the full rights to it so you can print it and do whatever, and then even actually offered to send me prints and pictures and posters and whatnot of the same artwork. So starts to sound really pretty good, and then I was like, well, I don't need any of that, of the prints and stuff. I can get that printed here locally, not a big deal, and I get exactly the way I want it, yada, yada, yada. So they cut the price down when it was all said and done down to like 75 bucks. And at 75 bucks, that's like pretty cheap, pretty silly cheap, right? So extremely tempting. And I think that's probably close to the point where the people that I know got scammed at is around 75 bucks or so too. So they had initially said, that they would do all this stuff, got it down to the $75 mark, and this is two different accounts telling me basically the same thing, which is really odd that they're both hitting me up at the same time. But two different profile pictures, two different kinds of pictures, and different kinds of art and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys a link to their profile picture and the name up right now somewhere here. So I was going back and forth on how to handle these accounts, and I thought to begin with, I'd get with you guys and there'd be a bunch of us that we could just blow this account up and, pretty well make it to where it would be hard for them to use these accounts anymore to try to scam anybody. But then I got thinking about it, I'm like, well, they'll just close those accounts or, forget about them or whatever and start new ones, and then we won't have, those accounts there anymore to know for sure that they're fake, so we'll have to go through a bunch of rigmarole to try to be able to get the people to prove that they're real or not later or whatever. When I've already done this, I've already messed with these people now for a few weeks. It actually ends up being one person when it comes all down to it, with two different accounts. And I'll just tell you what I did here right now if you want to know. So started out with trying to hit me up to do the artwork, blah, 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 $75. We got down to all that. Then they want to get paid. So the way they want to get paid is they want to use PayPal, or they want to use Venmo or something along that lines. And so I'm like, well, I don't have PayPal. I don't have Venmo, just playing it off. I was like, I'll write you a check and send it to you. What's your address? Because the one was telling me that they're in the United States. The other one was telling me they're in the United Kingdom. And kind of some of the language and words and stuff like that they were using didn't, to me, sound like they were even in the United States, obviously. So I was like, well, we'll just see if we can get an address out of them that way. And they didn't want to play that way because they weren't in either one of those places. I'll tell you where they ended up being here in a minute. But yeah, they wanted paid, so I played it out, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't do any of those because I don't have that method of payment. So they came up with the idea of, how about an Amazon card? So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I can get an Amazon card. So I played it out for a couple of days talking to him about it. I'm like, oh no, I'm at work, I won't get home, until this weekend, blah, 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 and then I'll get you one. So then this weekend rolls around, and like I said, I've been playing with these people for like 3 weeks or something like that, probably, when it's all said and done. And my thought behind all of that was, not only am I, just kind of messing with them, I'm wasting their time to where they don't have time to actually try to scam someone else. So I'm hopefully helping somebody by doing that. But then I was also hoping to get, down to the root, by the time it was all said and done, of where they're really at, and what their goal was, and if they would even send me any kind of artwork whatsoever or anything. So yeah, so I kept messing with them, kept playing with them, to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to Walmart now and get you a Amazon card, right? Well, I ended up going on the internet and getting a picture of a Walmart that's on fire, and I sent them that picture. I'm like, Walmart's on fire, I can't send you an Amazon card. I thought that was hilarious, because now we're stretching this out, and taking up even more of their time. But I finally got to the point where I just called them out, and said, no, I think you're a scammer. I don't know that you're actually going to be able to produce me any artwork or anything like that. And he assured me that he was not a scammer on both accounts. And on the one account, I had sent him pictures of Old Crow, and for those that aren't familiar with Old Crow, I'll put Old Crow's picture up here now. And I told him, just draw me a stick figure of Old Crow with a stick figure man beside it. And then that'll let me know that at least you can kind of draw a little bit. And we're talking stick figures here. I mean, I could tell my granddaughter to do that, and she could draw me that. So we're not talking a high expectation here, just some level of willing to draw and really willing to send me something to prove that you're not, a fake. Would not do that. Ended up, wouldn't send me anything like that at all. And then I kept messing with them over the course of another week, and finally the one account ended up sending me this picture of what they said was their work that they did to do a drawing of Old Crow. Again, let's look at these two pictures side by side, and you guys tell me, is this really a drawing of this truck? I'll give them a little bit of credit. They apparently had, like I said, AI do this, or they had went on the internet and found this picture somewhere of somebody else's and put it up there, and probably had to put a little bit of effort into trying to find something that's fairly close, but it's fairly close to somebody that's not a car guy. I mean, you guys can look at this stuff and see plain as day that these are not the same vehicles in any way, shape, or form, even though they kind of look like a little black hot rod, rat roddy type truck, right? So anyways, after sending me this picture, now he is demanding that I pay him. Demanding, and now calling me a scammer for not paying him after he did all this hard work and everything. And all he's trying to do is make enough money to pay for his mom's medical bills and yada, yada, yada. Just, going on and on about a bunch of stuff like that. Trying to make me feel guilty and, get me to pay, which I'm obviously not paying for that garbage. There's no way. So I went ahead and kept calling him out as being a scammer and everything, and then I had changed up my whole approach and told him that I was also a scammer and that I was going to try to hook him up to get him more business and be able to actually provide him with artwork that he could really give to people, and that we could, both make money on and both be profitable and everything. And this turned this guy's whole lingo all around and everything all around to the point where now he's telling me stuff like he's actually in Nigeria, is where he's from. Still telling me the story that his mom's sick and he needs the money for his mom. So I don't know if that's true or not. I hope it's not true, because I don't, wish bad things on anybody. But at the same time, I'm guessing it's probably not, because he was telling that BS, to begin with too. And I don't know, just I'm already feeling scammed and already feeling, lied to. So I'm feeling lied to about that part as well. So not overly feeling bad about the mother thing, but if she is, I do feel bad. But anyways, beyond that, he's telling me the story, and he also tells me that he is, like I said, in Nigeria, and he's pulling this off with probably 5 or 6 different people at least a week that he is scamming. And that's probably a lot of money in Nigeria. He's probably really raking in some pretty good money. So I'm guessing that it's probably not, taking care of his mom, like I said, because that just seems like it would be a lot of money there. And that also means that that's that many people here getting taken advantage of. And that's when I pretty well stopped messaging him, stopped talking to him and everything at that point. And he's tried to message me back, a handful of times or whatever too, to try to get me to go forward with, the idea that I presented him earlier, which I'm obviously not going to do. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting that he finally did go ahead and admit everything. Also admitted that both accounts that I was talking to was this same guy, so it was just this one guy with 2 accounts. And who knows, he might have other accounts out there as well. So in the end, really the bottom line here though is that people are getting scammed, and I don't want you guys getting scammed. So hopefully my messing with him has taken up some of the time that has actually stopped 1 or 2 people from getting scammed, and hopefully now if you guys are watching this video, you're going to be a little bit wiser on the situation and you won't be taken advantage of like this as well. So that's about what I've got for you here. The other thing though, real quick before we go, is speaking of artwork and everything, we're getting ready to do our build off here in the next few weeks. We're getting started on that, and I've been starting to get some artwork done on that. So next video we got out for you guys here, probably in the next few days or whatever, somewhere in that neighborhood, is going to be showing you guys the rendering for our next project that we're getting started on. So be looking for that and get ready for our next new build. So I'm excited for that, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later.